When you watch the mainstream media news, do you feel a little twitch? Is there a tingle in your left hand? Is your jaw locked? We have the solution. Welcome to Reasonable Arguments, the podcast where thoughtful debate meets unfiltered fun. Coming to you from Sarasota, Florida, we mix informed conservative commentary, playful banter, and just the right amount of nonsense to keep it entertaining. This is Reasonable Arguments, and now your host.
So we are back with Reasonable Arguments, and I guess we forgot to mention at the last show that Danny actually is doing this from her car, which
pretty evident.
But we'll see how
I'm
she
safe.
does if traffic gets bad.
Nobody is hurt in the filming of this recording. I have my seatbelt on and I'm going speed limit.
Exactly. All right, let's start off with the Texas walkout. Let's talk about why this is happening. 50 plus Texas House Democrats have left for Illinois. I heard Chicago, Illinois, different states, right?
And New York.
In New York.
All states that are very good with gerrymandering.
All states that are very blue and going to back them. They left to block a vote on new U.S. maps. They did this is because the House needs 2/3 present for quorum. No quorum, of course, equals no business. And the GOP-backed map could give Republicans 5 extra seats. So,
and most importantly, unseat Jasmine Crockett.
Yes. And so Trump, of course, supports the plan. Governor Abbott is pushing hard to pass before session ends August 19th. Why they did it is because they're saying that the map will dilute the Black and Latino voting power, and Republicans say it reflects population growth and shifts, especially in suburban and rural areas. What has happened right now is Governor Abbott has sent out arrest warrants for these people. And I like to look at things that happen in history, and it's not just Democrats that have done this. Of course, Republicans have done this before. And in the past, they have, and I think they're trying to do this time too, is where they're going to say, if you're not back, it's basically abandonment and you're not going to be eligible for reelection. And I think in the past when it happened, the Republicans did it in 2023. 10 senators were not eligible for reelection and they were planning to sue. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on this? To me, I think about the census. So the Democrats use the census to up the numbers in their blue states and all of that, where here we go again. They're trying to take seats away from us.
In my opinion, this is the reason for opening up the borders, because you said it in your opening. It's affecting Black and Latino, mostly Latino. And This is why they have opened up the floodgates, because they had hoped to have thousands and thousands of people added to their district, so then it would just automatically be blue forever. And
right.
That's why they do it. That's my opinion. And I am glad that Governor Abbott has issued an arrest warrant. I don't obviously want them to be arrested, but they need to come back and they need to do the job that they were put and voted in by their constituents to do.
Right. Exactly.
And then just to go, have Kathy Hochul, the New York governor, say, this is just, not the way things are done. I'm not going to stand for it. Newsom, I'm going to fight fire with fire. These are all people who have done the exact same thing, and they have moved these boundaries in order to make sure their districts stay blue.
Right. Exactly. So we're waiting for, obviously, these people to come back. They feel that they're out of state, so, they can't be threatened with arrest threats. And they talked about that this is a special session, and Governor Abbott has the right to call a special session, which he did, which started on July 21st. So these people they were aware of it. And then when this subject came up, they decided to take off.
Well, and it wasn't just about the redistricting. It's also about an abortion, some sort of abortion ban or pill, or there's a lot of other things on the special session other than redrawing boundary lines. And so they're basically, not doing the job that they are supposed to be doing. And not to mention, how many millions of dollars did that just cost taxpayers for them to get out of Texas?
Yeah, you got to wonder about that. I mean, like, obviously there's like a special clubhouse somewhere where they meet and say, you know what, let's do a walkout. We did that when we were seniors in high school. Let's walk out on this specific day. And I mean, to flee the state, it just, I don't know. I learn more and more about politics every day. And it's just funny how, um, I don't want to say childish, but I mean, it really kind of is. And I mean,
Well, and
and
it's
it's guilty on
super
both sides.
unprofessional. I mean,
Yes.
it is on both sides, but let's face it. I mean, we can say that it's a lot on the Democrat side. I mean, come on. They they haven't stopped. They want Trump done. They want him out of office. They'll go to any lengths to make sure
Yes.
that they win what they want to win. And now they are so unprofessional, constantly using bad language, getting up there, just screaming and yelling and just
Yeah.
so where is your decorum? Where is your professionalism? You are representing the people of your district. Have a little couth and have a little class.
Well, it's not like this is going to go away. I mean, they have
No,
to come back. It has to be faced at some point.
and
So
they'll
all you're
ultimately
doing is
lose.
delaying.
Yeah, they'll ultimately lose, and the Republicans will gain 5 seats.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
It's just
Uh,
it infuriates me that taxpayer dollars are being spent on something so childish, whether it is right or left. If you do that, you should have to pay back every dime that you used to be
and lose your seat.
insubordinate and lose your seat.
All right. So the reality check on this is walkouts usually delay, but they don't stop legislation, which of course
Right.
the risk for GOP is overreach could trigger court challenges and redraws. And the risk for Democrats is public opinion could turn if they are seen as avoiding work.
And I don't know how much more public opinion could turn down. Their poll numbers are just terrible anyway. I mean, how much are you going to continue to just tank your party?
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the Gaza war. Looking into this, let's talk about why this started. October 7th of 2023, Hamas militants launched a surprise coordinated attack on southern Israel, killing 1,200 and taking 250 hostages. Israel responded with massive airstrikes, then launched a ground invasion on October 27th, 2023. Obviously, the fighting has devastated Gaza's infrastructure and displaced millions. Ceasefires have been brief and unstable. The war has dragged on for nearly 2 years. Well, now, it's saying that it was tied to the 50th anniversary of the 1973 Yom Kippur War, framed as retaliation for Israel raids in the West Bank, settler violence, and tensions over Askel Mosque. And so now ceasefire. Gaza is hurting badly. They reached a ceasefire in January, and Israel's like, nope, we're not doing that. Now we're up to Palestinian death of 60,000 plus, 50 hostages remain in Gaza, widespread famine. You see it all over the news. And as of this morning, it says that Israel's security cabinet is talking about taking over Gaza and to eliminate Hamas from power. So thinking about this, okay, Hamas, you struck first, right? Now you're like, okay, I hit you first. You're hitting me too hard. Now let's stop. And where do you go from there? I
I
mean,
exactly. I don't know how Israel has become the bad guy in all of this. They're still predicting that there are 16,000 to 18,000 Hamas rebels and terrorists still in Gaza. I mean,
yeah.
that's not a threat. That's not a threat. There's still a very viable threat there. You kill even one more person, or take them hostage, you're still a threat. And I don't understand how this, you know, former security advisors to Israel are saying we need to stop, we need to get out. I think that is no. You need to
And
finish the
asking the
job.
U.S. to get involved,
Right.
asking Trump to
Right.
get involved.
Right. And I'm not opposed to sending them weapons. I am opposed to putting boots on the ground, but I don't think they want us to put boots on the ground. I
No.
think they just need weapons. I think that it needs to be done. It's going to continue to rise, just like ISIS, just like every other. Do you know Hamas in Hebrew means violence?
No, I didn't
That's
know that.
that is what their name at the core is. And they're not fighting a power war. They're not fighting a war to see who can make the most money or buy the most oil. They're fighting a religious war that they have been fighting for 2,000 years. This is strictly about kill the infidels, and they're never going to stop. And I don't blame Netanyahu for, I don't want innocent Palestinians to die. And so, don't send me any hate mail saying that I am cold hearted. I'm not. I don't want I don't want anybody to die in war. But the fact is, it happens. And when you've got people like Hamas or ISIS or Hezbollah, all these terrorist organizations, they are never going to stop until you stop them. And there are still 50 hostages.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just, so what do? You go and you kick somebody and be like, no, don't kick me back. I mean, they started the war. It's
right.
like,
And they still have hostages.
They're going to take it until it's theirs, right?
Right. Well, and now aren't they? Now they're taking the aid that the Red Cross and whoever, us, Israel, everything that gets dropped, they're basically taking it for themselves, and they're basically starving the Palestinians. How are we at fault for this? That's why Hamas needs to go.
Exactly.
They're watching these people slowly die of starvation and doing nothing about it. And they're their own people. Most of the Palestinians are Muslim. It's just, it blows my mind, this protest for Palestine. Yes, protest for the innocent people there, but it's Hamas. Most of them are Palestinian. And as long as Iran is still backing them, they're never going to go away.
They're never going to go away. And so what are your thoughts if Israel ends up taking over?
Well, I mean,
obviously they would have to take Hamas out, right?
Right. And I would never, I don't really condone, just the same with, I don't love that America goes over and, takes over places, but I don't think we try to do that. But I really wish the initial thing happened where Trump has said, well, we'll rebuild Gaza, or, we'll help these people get back on track. I think that's the best of both worlds, where Israel and maybe America and other countries could just help them rebuild. But you have to eliminate Hamas and all the other terrorists before you can even think about doing any of that.
Agreed. So what's at stake, obviously, for Israel is ending Hamas's military threat, recovering hostages, and avoiding security vacuum in Gaza. For Palestinians, it's survival, ending blockade, and securing humanitarian relief. And for the region, it's risk of wider war, collapse of normalization talks, and long-term instability. Israel has weakened Hamas military, but definitely has not eliminated it. Humanitarian crisis is deepening. Famine may shift global pressure against Israel. And without post-war governance plan for Gaza, gains could be temporary.
Well, and I also want to know what happened with Trump saying those hostages need to be released or else. Did that? Yeah. They released a few, and so now we're okay with still 50? I mean, why? We cannot be mad at Israel. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that Israel's perfect or any of that. I'm just saying, if somebody came into our house and they caused complete destruction, they kidnapped women and children and babies, and we would just say, oh, after a year or 2 years, say, oh, okay, it's okay, we're gonna let it go now, we're fine with it. No, we would never do that. We would never do that, and nor should Israel.
No, especially if they start it. I mean, you started it.
And Israel was state. Israel predates Palestine by more than 1,000 years. Yeah. So Israel was there first for a long time. And they were getting along just fine until you have the terrorists come out.
You're going to get in trouble for reading your notes in your car.
I'm not reading. I just had to get a reminder. I'm getting old, so I had to get a little reminder.
All right, so let's move on to AOC. you talked about last episode was the Voters of Tomorrow summit that happened with the panda running the show or whatever happened. So on July 25th, the Voters of Tomorrow Fighting for Our Future summit in Washington, D.C. drew 200 plus under 30
Woo!
progressive activists.
200.
Maybe it was invite only. We don't know. Progressive activists, influencers, and politicians. Some of the speakers included Nancy Pelosi, Representative Ro Khanna, and VP Kamala Harris. She was virtual. Attendees named AOC and Mamdani as future of the Democratic Party. So
Scary.
praise, scary, yeah. Praise for AOC came with a caveat, though, is activists want her to take a louder, clearer stance on Gaza. So let's talk about AOC. If you don't know who AOC is, she is a New York City Congresswoman since 2019. She is the squad leader, champion of Green New Deal, Medicare for All, student debt cancellation, and polarizing outside deep blue areas. And then
Speaking of redrawing districts.
Exactly. And Zohran Mamdani is Queen State Assembly member, born in Uganda, raised in New York City. He is a self-proclaimed socialist, Democrat socialist, known for seize the means of production, and he's running for New York City mayor in 2025. So,
And he's leading.
but he wasn't voted. He just happened to get the most votes. He wasn't, you know what I mean? One of those things. What they're finding is that young progressives, Gaza is literally the defining issue. And AOC is being criticized for not being vocal enough on her office vandalized over the issue. Activists see her stance as cautious, and AOC says she's being misrepresented. Mamdani's based strongly pro-Palestinian, appealing to the far left voters. So I look at these two and I just can't even begin to fathom them being the nominees for president.
No, it's almost as bad as the whole transgender thing. You wake up one day and you go, this is a reality in our country, that these two people are where they are after all of our history of people fighting and losing their lives, women and children and moms sending their children to war to die, so that these two people can be in control of our country. It's mind-blowing to me that that we're even here talking about socialism. But what did Ronald Reagan say? It's only one generation away, and it is a lot closer than we think it is. It is scary to think that people in New York City think it's okay to have free grocery stores or government-owned grocery stores. I don't understand how we got here, and that there is support for it. And it's not just in New York either.
Sorry, oh my goodness, we're having a thing going on here with the cats. Sorry, my equipment's going to be falling over soon. But this shows how youth activists are shaping future leaders.
Well, and this was the plan, right? Like it was the plan all along.
Yeah.
Let's train up this youth. Let's give them a trophy for everything. Let's not tell them they did anything wrong or that they tried really hard and it's okay. We just handled them with kid gloves. They're growing up, and now that they are the adults of America and they think that everybody should give them something, most of them still live at home with their mothers and fathers, and in their grandma's basement is the thing they like to say, and it's the way we've raised them. They don't work hard.
Agreed.
And they don't want to.
So why this matters nationally is far left positions may play well in activist heavy districts, but risk alienating moderates and swing votes. Gaza as a litmus test could fracture the Democratic coalition before 2026 in the 2028 elections. So
when are those middle of the road Democrats going to come out? When are they going to say, this is in no way, shape, or form okay? When is one Democrat going to come out and say it's not okay to have boys and girls sports, and it's not okay for the government to pay for everything? When? That's why they don't have a leader. That's why Kamala can't name a leader, because not one Democrat will come out against any of the stuff that they're doing.
Right. The reality check on this is social media clout is basically working with the swing state voters. Democrats risk repeating the 2016 mistakes, which, I mean, on our side, that's good, right? And I think
Yeah, I'm fine
Republicans are
with
going to
it.
sit back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I wrote this in the Substack yesterday is, I think Republicans, the GOP is just going to sit back and just watch. Let's just see what happens with this. You have these two people out there, you know, kind of embarrassing themselves in a weird way with these younger voters where I think, when the time comes, people are finally going to step up and be like, look, we're not, this isn't a reality TV show. No matter how many times I say politics is like reality TV, it's not. It's not. And you can't have these two loudmouth influencers, let's say, running the country.
Right. Well, and it's not just those two. It's people like Jasmine Crockett from Texas
Yes.
who are so disrespectful to the governor of her own state, calling him Governor Hot Wheels. I mean, this man was hit by a tree when he was 12 years old and paralyzed for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Why would you think that's funny? I mean, and she's still allowed to have a platform to keep talking and being disrespectful, and hopefully it doesn't work. Hopefully they kind of, you know, fizzle out and go away. But like you mentioned AOC, and she was the leader of the squad. Well, most of her original squad is not even in government anymore. Cori Bush, she lost. Jamal Bowman lost. So it's not, that squad is not going to stand the test of time, is what, well, I hope. But if they do, that's good for us anyway, because I can't believe regular, everyday, hardworking Americans are going to say, yes, this is what I want for my country that I love and that we've worked so hard to build, and just can't imagine it.
The squad kind of reminds me of the Mean Girls Club.
Right. And here's the other thing. What about Ilhan Omar? I mean, there's so much around her. I don't know the actual truth, but I mean, this is a person that we saved. We brought her over from her country. She was a refugee. We've taken good care of her. We've educated her. We've fed her. And this is how she talks about America. And she gets away with it. At what point is there some consequence for that?
Well, there
she's a
should be.
squad
And
member.
Jamie and I talked about that a lot, where, if you are more favorable towards another country instead of America, you should not have any kind of position in politics. You
Agree.
shouldn't.
Especially
I
when you
mean,
speak out against your country that you are
yeah.
helping to run and making laws and rules for, when you
Yes.
know that you have an ulterior motive.
Yes.
And she doesn't even try to hide it.
No, it's crazy. That to me is just insane. I mean, how are you going to sit there and, represent this country and be loyal to another one? It just, I don't.
Well, we're just, and that, again, that's Muslim. And I don't think all Muslim people are bad. I think that there are plenty of peaceful Muslims, but the ones that are bad and the ones that are trying to ruin our country, it has to stop. It has to stop. And Ilhan Omar is one of those people.
Agreed. The next thing we're going to talk about is, and this just happened on August 1st, ICE attempted to arrest Jose Mendez Chavez, convicted of child abuse, domestic violence, and DUI in Colorado Springs.
Where I was born and raised.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
So he is a
Shout
six-time
out to Colorado
deported
Springs.
six-time deported sex offender, and the Colorado Rapid Response Network is the one who alerted that they were coming. So he allegedly rammed ICE vehicle before fleeing on foot, and the manhunt is still ongoing.
Yeah, they haven't caught him yet.
Which is just crazy. So,
well, he's a slippery little devil already. We know that, right? He's been deported 6 times, and 6 times
and came back in. Yep.
Yeah.
So I wanted to find out more about this Colorado Rapid Response Network. And so they were founded in 2017 by Immigrant Rights Group, and they operate a hotline to report ICE activity, and they deploy volunteers to document and advise targets. We know they're also having people let people know what's happening so they can get out.
Should also do more research on how they're funded, because a lot of those groups were funded by an NAID or in the thing.
USAID. Yeah, that's a good idea. I will do that too. Just amazes me that you're going to let this person be out on your streets knowing what he's doing. And of course, the activist networks may provide warnings, giving targets time to flee. So why does this matter to us nationally? Is it highlights the enforcement breakdowns at the border, It shows tension between federal law and state sanctuary policies. It raises public safety concerns over violent repeat offenders staying in the U.S. communities. And the political flashpoint is rights defenders versus law enforcement obstructors. And, for Colorado, whether sanctuary laws protect communities or shield dangerous criminals, maintaining operational effectiveness for hostile jurisdiction for ICE, for activists, balancing rights defense with public backlash, and for national policy, credibility of immigration enforcement and border security reforms. It's why are we letting these people run the streets? I mean, I think the last guy we did this, he ended up killing someone, and I don't understand why anybody wants this to happen.
Well, again, it's the common sense part of the Democrat Party. Again, should we be giving everything for free? Should we be allowing criminal migrant people in our country and protecting them?
Right.
I can see why people would pull at your heartstrings, that you want to protect a mom and her little kids, or whatever that component might be. I can see that. But to protect people like him, and to protect people that, like the people that killed these young girls, I don't get it. It's the common sense of the Democrat Party that is just gone out the door.
Well, and I can't even imagine if this was an American person who had this kind of record, I don't think people would stand by and just let him walk the streets.
I don't think they would either. But in this culture today, we're not prosecuting people. Doesn't matter what color you are. We're not prosecuting anybody that's bad. We prosecute the police, and we prosecute Trump, and we don't prosecute the people who are actually committing the rapes and the murders and the DUI deaths. And it's unfathomable. And this is how they are going to take America down, because we're going to just be so corrupt from the inside that we just crumble.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, we had a couple immigration specialists on the show one time, and they said if someone in America commits a crime, their children aren't following them to jail. So
Right.
Anyway, you're breaking up families. So they're worried
Right.
about breaking up these families for what?
And the time to worry is before you break the law of crossing our border without being invited. That's the time to worry about your family.
Right.
Well, it's just the common sense part of it, And everything is so polarizing. Everything has to be, right or left. There could be no common sense thinking in the middle for whatever reason, because the right doesn't want to give the left any wins, and the left won't give the right any wins. And frankly, there's not a lot of wins that could be given to the left right now.
No. And I mean, until something happens to one of their family or to them or whatever,
God forbid,
it's just going to keep being protect the wrong people.
Even if it's not political, everything has to be political.
That leads right into our next story, which is the Sydney Sweeney ad. And I'm going to be honest with you. I saw this come up, and I really didn't pay too much attention to it until it obviously got this big. So what happened was American Eagle launched a campaign with Sydney Sweeney, and it says, Sydney Sweeney has great jeans. My jeans are blue. Great jeans look good on everybody. And everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people heard jeans as in GENES, as in
That's
DNA.
That's the illiteracy in them.
Oh my God. I mean,
again, immediately becomes political. You want to see political? Hold my beer. And then her video was released about her shooting at the shooting range, where she's a registered Republican in Florida.
So critics accuse the ad of flirting with eugenics imagery, blonde hair, blue eyes, strong jeans, seen as white supremacist coded. Some called it fascist coded or Nazi propaganda-esque. Others dismissed it as overblown woke outrage. American Eagle said, it's just jeans. It's literally just jeans.
It's jeans. JEANS.
It's meant to promote confidence and inclusivity, not genetics.
Go ahead.
Trump weighs in and called it the hottest ad. As soon as he found out Sydney Sweeney was a Republican, called it the hottest ad, which boosted AE stock 17%.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah. I think it's awesome. She hasn't said a word about it. They
No.
doxed her. They doxed her voting. But she hasn't tweeted. She hasn't said anything. American Eagle hasn't said anything. We're not changing anything. She's still on the in Times Square, the big poster right in as you walk in the door. And I love that. Don't give them what they want.
I love it. The New Yorker calls the campaign a banal provocation, contrasting it with Beyonce's Levi's ad that reclaim Americana with Black empowerment. The American Eagle ad is described as reinforcing outdated ideals of white femininity and pandering to reactionary audiences under the guise of provocation.
Talk about pandering.
Oh my God. The Guardian argues the ad fetishes whiteness through its focus on blonde hair, blue eyes, and quippy gene pun.
And I'm
Seeing
sorry,
this,
doesn't Beyonce have blonde hair right now? Beyonce
Beyonce's
is a
doing
beautiful
country
black
music.
woman with blonde hair. Most people who have common sense are like, good for you, Beyonce. You want to try country music? Go for it. You want to wear
Yeah.
blonde hair? Go for it. We're happy for you. Because that's what real empowerment is. That's what real women do. They support each other. They don't
Yes.
get their bull nose ring and their piercings all over and their purple hair and say, "Oh, I would never buy those jeans." Well, no, you wouldn't, because they probably wouldn't fit you.
I'm flabbergasted about this. I'm sitting there thinking, like, am I just that, like, not shallow, but what is the word that, like, I would never, even with Beyonce doing it and being Black empowerment, like, I would never, that would never enter my mind of
Right, to
being
each their own.
offended.
Exactly. You know what? Live and let live. Buy the jeans or don't. Just like, you know what? Everyone flipped out about Bud Light, which is a completely different scenario. I mean, Bud Light, know your audience, right? Um, but buy Bud Light, don't buy Bud Light. I mean, we live in America, and when a company makes a stupid decision like Bud Light and promotes a boy during Women's History Day or whatever it was, you chose not to buy Bud Light, right? And everybody freaked out, and Bud Light tanked for a while. Bud Light came out and said, that's not our marketing, and now Sydney Sweeney. This is just an innocent sex sales. They know sex sells, and their stock is up. And I'm like, let it
Well,
go.
their
If
stock's
it
up because
doesn't,
of Trump.
well, no, it went up. It went up before Trump too, because the jeans that she's actually selling were sold out.
Oh, I
The
mean,
minute people started talking about it, the stuff started flying off the shelves.
of
Not to
course,
mention that
of
she's a
course.
young, beautiful American girl. You
Yeah,
know, who knows?
exactly.
Who knows if they were going to maybe do a beautiful black lady in jeans next time? Like, it isn't supposed to be about black and white or beauty or not
Well,
beauty. I mean, if they're
and that's
selling jeans,
it's genes, and again, that's where I said, like I sit there thinking to myself, am I just like, am I missing something where I'm not getting offended by these things that are happening, and I'm not reading into every single commercial and every
I
single
know.
tweet and
Who has
like I
time for
just
that? Who has time for that? I love the meme of Gene Hackman and Gene Wilder together where it says, "Now these are great genes." I thought, exactly. How fun. How
yeah,
fun. How fun. Stop being so over the top about everything. It's
stop
just
being
supposed to
so
be
literal.
fun.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think everybody would be more happy. There would be less mental health issues, and I don't know, pharmaceutical companies may go down just because they're not prescribing meds anymore. But
Well, they can't keep us divided as a human race if they let all this stuff go. You can't tear the country down if everyone is united. And so they have to keep us in our own little boxes. Oh, you're gay, you're straight, you're white, you're black, you're fat, you're tall, you're skinny. You have to fit in your own little box so that you're completely divided from everybody else. And that's how we will destroy your country. And until we, as an American people, stand up and say, I'm not a box. I'm a person.
yep.
I'm an American. I love Jesus. I live in this country, and we all get along. And we all support each other. And until we do that, we're going to always be a little bit on the edge of destruction.
Well, yeah, and Jamie used to say that on the podcast a lot, where he would say, they need to stop making that the first thing people fill out is check your
It's none of your
box
business. Yes,
on
it's
what
none
you
of your
are.
business. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm an American. That's what I am.
I've asked Jamie this before. What is it that is making the Democrats want to infiltrate this country the way that they are with immigrants
George Soros.
and like, what is the end game? What is the end game?
Votes. That's
but I
how
mean,
they get
even with votes, even with votes, you're changing
power.
You're changing everything about the country. You're then becoming, this dictatorship, and the freedom goes away and everything changes. I don't understand what the point of that is, because you're ruining it for your future generations.
Yeah, I don't think they think beyond that. They're just about the power and the money grab.
Someone commented on one of our clips saying that you can't have humor in politics. I think you have to have humor in
I
politics.
totally disagree. You have to find humor in everything. If you don't, then you're just going to become Hillary Clinton.
That is exactly it. And I kind of laughed at it, because I'm like that's exactly why I voted for Trump.
Everything doesn't have to be so serious all the time.
It doesn't have to be. And if you do your job and you make things better, you have to make fun of yourself, right? And I think Trump does that well. And I don't know. People are just so tight.
We all just need to take a breath. And in Martin Lawrence in Bad Boys, he says "woosa." You just have to woosa. Take a breath. Just breathe. Just breathe.
Did you make it to work safe?
Almost. I've got 2 more lights and then I'm here.
Well, I'm very proud of you. There wasn't any traffic incidents today, so that's good.
No, all good. Yes.
All
right.
Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Shout out to Brian Kilmeade. I'm dressed. That's what he always says in the morning. Get dressed.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Have a good day, everybody.
This has been Reasonable Arguments, News and Nonsense. There is so much BS on the mainstream media news, but you knew that. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. See you next time.